Even though the Battlefield 5 beta is right around the corner, it seems DICE already has their hands full with feedback from the closed alpha Gamescom playtest and, of course, the vocal opposition to their design decisions and terabad marketing. Thus, today the announcement was made that Battlefield 5 is being delayed from its October 19th launch date to November 20th, a full month later, as we take yet another turn on this Battlefield 5 pre-release roller coaster. This isn't the first time a Battlefield title has been delayed based on player feedback, as Hardline was supposed to come out in October of 2014, but was pushed back 5 whole months to March of 2015. This is a good thing for everybody involved, considering that there were reports that tons of features were not going to be ready in time for launch, like the co-op mode Combined Arms, the Battle Royale mode, soldier and vehicle customization items, some gadgets for classes like the Mortar, and we haven't even seen a glimpse of the supposed dragging teammates into cover feature yet, as well as the paltry 720p to 900p resolution and 60 FPS max with dips down in the 40 FPS range for the console version of the game built from Gamescom. This gives the development team more time to get these features into the game on launch, even though in the announcement nothing was said about altering the timeline for these items, so I don't even know why people are getting their fucking hopes up, as well as polishing bugs, because in the first alpha build that I played, it had even issues with things as simple as joining squads. While it wasn't as bad as the Battlefield 4 beta, which you remember crashed every time when you tried to revive somebody, that was only a month before a disastrous launch, so I know that they're going to try and avoid that situation yet again, but there's definitely lots of glitches and more problems than I experienced in the betas of Battlefield 1 and Battlefield's Hardline, which isn't a good look for them. The new launch date also avoids getting Titanfall 2'd sandwiched between two games that are supposed to sell bigly, as Orange Cheeto Jesus would say, and this new date is perfect for when the honeymoon period of Black Ops 4 is over, so the gamers will look to something similar in order to suit their liking, as well as being just before holiday sales when most parents actually use their own credit card instead of giving it to their kids to rack up bills, then proceeding to argue with the customer service instead of teaching those little shits self-restraint. It's also good news for people that are boycotting the game entirely, as if the game falters, EA cannot use the launch window as an excuse as a fallback when the lesson that the protesters want EA to learn is regarding the design decisions of the game and voting with their wallet. I mean, EA even had contingency plans for subpar sales, like adding tons of post-launch content, like in the form of remastered maps from previous Battlefield games, which is what I had assumed that this Tides of War live service buzzword was supposed to be all about, or at least it better be after Battlefield 1 supercalifragilisticexpialidocious content model of waiting 5 months for the first DLC and almost a year for the second with no new items in between. At least the developers like this live service model better, because then they could do more Operation Outbreak community type maps and less cookie cutter levels in order to meet a quota. Another rumored contingency plan was to make the Battle Royale mode free to play with bonus content for those that have the base game, as well as a remaster of Bad Company 2, similar to what Modern Warfare Reimagined did for Infinite Warfare, but this is another shite idea, considering that even though the sales were boosted of the game, the fan base was fractured between both the Modern Warfare Reimagined and Infinite Warfare games, which is not ideal for a game that you want to continue to update constantly and have gamers engaged with it for a longer duration than they masturbate. That being said, it's hard to not be cynical about this move. Moving it back only a month isn't a ton of time if the game is in a state that needs a lot of polish, but it makes sense to do so before holiday sales to still take advantage of rampant consumerism, as well as getting some positive reception for doing the right thing to change the connotation of the narrative currently surrounding the game. This screams more of a PR move than a move based on getting more bugs out of the game and features into the game, considering that no other information was given about the latter. One thing that is somewhat confirmed is that this announcement means that there might be an extension for the beta period based on tweets from a developer, or even perhaps another round of testing later on, but as of now, the concrete dates for this beta are Tuesday the 4th for those that have pre-ordered, or if you haven't, there's an open beta that starts on Thursday the 6th with an end date of Tuesday the 11th based on the PlayStation announcement that also confirms that you need to be a PlayStation Plus member in order to download the beta. The beta will have 2 maps, the Arctic Fjord map set in Narvik, Norway from the alpha, which was a good all-around map for Conquest since it has infantry fighting with also tanks and airplanes in the mix, as well as the awesome parachuting down for the Grand Operations mode, along with a new map that was only shown off at Gamescom with Rotterdam, which seems to be more up my alley with an urban setting that has mostly infantry fighting, so I don't anticipate airplane usage and minimal tanks similar to Amiens in Battlefield 1. There will also be a Tides of War preview with a 5-part event, which will hopefully mean we get the devastation part of the Rotterdam map, as it seems only the Arctic Fjord Grand Operation will be available during the beta. There will be a ton of of new weapons that were not in the alpha as well, with the assault class getting auto and semi-auto rifles with the Gewehr 43, previously relegated to the medic class as an assault weapon now, along with the STG 44 that was featured in the alpha, and the M1A1 carbine and Turner SMLE single-shot rifles that were not in the alpha. The aforementioned medic class now has the Irma machine pistol SMG from the assault class, as well as the MP40 from the alpha, with the new weapons being the Sten and the Suomi KP31, which makes sense given that the medic class is supposed to be on the front lines reviving and healing people, so that's why an SMG makes more sense. But does this mean that the medic class will be the best class in the game now that it's got SMGs that, by the way, were just barely second to the STG 44 in terms of lethality? Time will tell on that one. The support class doesn't have the MG34 mounted machine gun from the alpha that you only had to go fucking prone in order to use, which is a dumb fucking idea, although I don't see the machine gunner combat role, formerly archetype, in these beta screenshots, but I do see the Bren LMG that was available for the engineer archetype, combat role, along with the new weapons being the FG42 and KE7 LMGs, as well as the M30 Luftwaffe drilling shotgun, which harkens back to the support class with shotties and Battlefield Hardline. Lastly, the scout class is the KAR-98 from the alpha, along with the Lee Enfield No. 4 bolt-action rifle, as well as the ZH-29 self-loading rifle, acting as a DMR-esque option for the long-range class. There's also new sidearms and melee weapons, of which I'll leave a link to the images in the description, along with all of my sources for this video, because I don't give a shit about trying to flail around wildly in a shooter game with a palette swap. We do have screenshots of weapon customization, as it seems you could have different skins on different parts of your weapon, like the muzzle, barrel, magazine, etc., as well as different sights you can equip on the weapon, like a lens sight, reflex sights, aperture sights, medium, and long scopes. I don't understand why the need to break down the individual components to reskin them in a certain pattern, but I'm sure it's to water down the loot pool so much that opening battle packs means you'll almost never get what the fuck you want. DICE certainly wasn't kidding with taking customization to the next level, though. Anyways, what do you think about the delayed launch, and will you be playing the beta? I'll be streaming it on my Twitch both Tuesday the 4th and Wednesday the 5th, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Hope to see you there. I've been the Schwantz27, out like Teddy Bridgewater in New York. Until next time.